My name is Dolinskiy, and I represent Alma Learning. Our team is constantly working to enhance the efficiency of teaching and faculty development through artificial intelligence. Numerous educational experiments around the world, as well as our projects with universities and corporate training in North and South America, Europe, and the Middle East, demonstrate that when used correctly, AI can significantly improve learning outcomes. An American businessman, amazed by the perfect lawn at Windsor Castle, asked the gardener about the secret to its beauty. The gardener replied simply, "You need to mow the lawn every day for 400 years." This story is particularly relevant to the field of education, where results become visible only after a long period. Just like a beautiful lawn, a high-quality education system cannot be created overnight. Even with resources to build one excellent school, it is challenging to scale that success across an entire country. There simply aren't enough top-tier teachers. This is a common problem for all large nations. Given that children around the world are equally capable, success in education depends on three factors: the quality of teaching, school infrastructure, and parental involvement. Since it is difficult to influence parents and infrastructure can be improved, teacher training becomes the key factor. This is confirmed by the experiences of Finland and Estonia, where educational breakthroughs occurred due to raising standards for teachers, requiring a master's degree for new educators, and offering professional development programs for existing ones. Their success was made possible by Finland's high literacy levels dating back to the late 19th century, which provided an educated foundation for developing a modern teaching workforce. The most economically and politically developed countries of 17th century Europe and the world, the Netherlands and Great Britain, achieved widespread literacy during that time, with more than half the population able to read and write. In other countries, this process began later. While it was undoubtedly accelerated by the advent of printing, the true driver of literacy was economic progress and the growing need to manage increasingly complex processes, tools, and mechanisms. These developments emerged 2 centuries after the invention of printing and a century after the Reformation, only alongside the Industrial Revolution. The majority of people on the planet became literate only by the middle of the 20th century, and today around 13 to 14% of the adult population still cannot read and write at a basic level. It is not possible to simply replicate the successful educational systems of countries like Singapore, Finland, or Estonia. Their success is built on centuries of educational traditions and widespread literacy. These countries have a favorable environment, motivated students, supportive parents, and a sufficient number of qualified teachers and experts to train them. For countries that have only recently achieved universal literacy and have less developed educational traditions, it is much more challenging to attain similar results. PISA studies based on 77 countries reveal that educational disparities rooted in centuries of history are passed down through generations. The most significant factors influencing children's performance in mathematics, reading, and science are the professional status of their parents and the presence of books at home, accounting for about 1/5 of all influencing factors, while the family's material wealth plays a minimal role. Bridging this gap with developed countries may prove nearly impossible to achieve. In the context of mass education, the number of students per teacher is increasing, especially in less developed regions. In developed countries, there are 10 to 15 students per teacher. In less developed regions, this rises to as many as 25, and in sub-Saharan Africa, it can range from 60 to 80 students per teacher. Meanwhile, elite education, from antiquity to the present day, has maintained a ratio of 5 to 10 students per teacher. This creates parallel education systems. An elite system with the best teachers, well-prepared students, and optimal ratios, and a mass system with less qualified staff, less prepared students, poorer infrastructure, and a heavy workload for teachers. The best education is likely individualized, where the teacher's full, undivided attention is focused on a single student. Research by one of the leading educational theorists of the 20th century, Benjamin Bloom, demonstrates that learning outcomes in one-on-one instruction are 2 standard deviations higher than in traditional classroom settings. Naturally, such educational opportunities are available only to a small number of students belonging to the most privileged groups. Modern technologies, particularly generative artificial intelligence, have the potential to help address educational inequality. AI is already demonstrating strong performance in various fields, from business and law to medicine. It successfully tackles advanced academic challenges and outperforms humans in management experiments. In blind tests, AI exhibits higher levels of empathy and creativity compared to humans, as well as superior speed and accuracy. Despite its current imperfections, when used correctly, AI can significantly enhance both professional activities and the educational process. According to OpenAI, approximately 80% of their product usage is in education, but the effectiveness of this application is questionable. Educators primarily use AI for routine tasks, preparing lessons, presentations, and tests, only slightly increasing the efficiency of traditional methods. Students, on the other hand, mainly use AI for unethical purposes such as completing homework dishonestly, writing essays, and conducting research. 2 years of research demonstrate a dual effect of using AI in education. When students use it to simply obtain ready-made answers without attempting to solve problems on their own, their exam results deteriorate. However, when AI is used as a tutor assistant after an independent attempt at solving a problem, providing hints and clarifying complex points, students' educational outcomes improve. Collaborative projects by Alma Learning with universities in the United States, Latin America, and the Middle East show that when artificial intelligence acts as a teaching assistant working individually with students, it increases their engagement and improves educational outcomes. This gives us reason to believe that in the near future, artificial intelligence could achieve results at least comparable to those obtained by Benjamin Bloom and his colleagues in their experiments on identifying the most effective teaching methods. It seems that this is precisely why massive open online courses, such as Coursera, Udemy, and Masterclass, have not become a solution to the problems in education and quickly stopped growing after reaching their ceiling. Duolingo achieved a high level of capitalization through effective gamification, but for the vast majority of users, the educational outcomes remain limited. This disappointment in edtech is qualitatively similar to the attempts by the prominent American industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie to create a network of public libraries. Despite widespread literacy in the United States as early as the 19th century, libraries by themselves provide only theoretical access to knowledge. Only the most prepared and motivated students are able to acquire new knowledge and skills without external support. The effectiveness of learning is closely tied to the biological nature of humans as social beings. When we achieve success or receive approval from significant individuals, the brain produces dopamine, a hormone that helps overcome challenges and move toward goals. In cases of failure, without the release of dopamine, a person experiences only exhaustion, which reduces motivation for further efforts. Lev Vygotsky's concept of the zone of proximal development, ZPD, emphasizes that effective learning occurs when tasks are challenging but achievable with appropriate support. In traditional classroom settings, teachers can provide individual support to ensure tasks remain within a student's ZPD, helping them gradually overcome difficulties and achieve success. This success triggers dopamine release, which enhances motivation and encourages further effort. In contrast, independent tools like MOOCs often lack this level of individualized support, making it difficult to adjust the complexity of tasks to meet the needs of specific students. As a result, students may encounter tasks that are either too easy, leading to boredom, or too difficult, leading to frustration, disrupting the reward cycle that sustains motivation. Angela Duckworth defines grit as a combination of passion and perseverance in pursuing long-term goals. According to her research, people with grit maintain a consistent interest in their pursuits and exert sustained effort, even when faced with challenges or setbacks. Duckworth argues that grit is not merely a matter of strong willpower. It also involves finding deep personal meaning in the goals being pursued. This connection between passion and perseverance enables individuals to overcome difficulties and remain committed to their objectives over the long term. Psychologist Carol Dweck developed the concept of a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort and hard work. People with this mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn and do not give up in the face of obstacles. Angela Duckworth believes that this mindset is key to developing grit, the ability to persist in pursuing long-term goals despite slow progress and difficulties. This approach aligns with the core idea of grit, the capacity to continue striving toward long-term goals with enthusiasm, even when progress is slow or obstacles seem daunting. Do you know why working with a coach or trainer is so much more effective than studying on your own? It's simple. We are social beings. When working alone, it's hard to overcome our inner critic and personal limitations. But as soon as external support enters the picture, the entire process transforms. Of course, not everyone has the opportunity to work with a personal coach. However, today we have new technologies and tools that can provide similar support and structure to help achieve our goals. The world faces a severe shortage of teachers, nearly 50 million, according to UNESCO estimates, even to ensure basic literacy. Existing educators are overburdened, working up to 60 hours a week for low pay, with each student receiving only about 4 minutes of individual attention per week. Artificial intelligence could address the challenge of providing a personalized approach for every student, but this requires the proper use of technology by both teachers and students. The implementation of AI assistance for every teacher and student is not a matter of if, but when. And the sooner this happens, the faster we can bridge the gap between what is desired and what is achievable. Thank you for your attention. Let's make education better together.